Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm LeetCoder. If you guys are new here, I pretty much do LeetCode stock questions and explain things in the simplest way possible. So today we have a pretty interesting problem that I'm very excited about. So let's go ahead and read the problem statement. So the question is called reverse linked list, guys. So this is a very good problem, guys. I know I've done this problem in the past, but this one I'll be including in some kind of animation, guys, to really help you guys visualize the whole algorithm that's needed, right? So very good problem. It's you need to get this problem really down packed so that you guys can solve harder problems, guys. I'm saying, so this teaches the fundamentals that's needed to solve any problem that involves reversing linked list, guys. So it's a good technique to really add to your tool bag so that you guys can really attack those interview problems. I'm saying, so let's go ahead and read it real quick. So it says, given the head of a singly linked list, right, reverse the list and return the reverse list, right? So you guys can see that we're given a couple examples, right? So 1 points to 2, 2 points to 3, 3 points to 4, right? And then the reversed linked list, right? After reversing every node in the list, right? The pointers, right, are different. I'm saying, so instead of 1 pointing to 2, 2 is going to be pointing to 1, right? As you guys can see, 2 points to 1, right? And then 3 points to 2, right? 4 points to 3, right? But 3 was pointing to 4. I'm saying, so pretty much reverse the whole list, guys. I'm saying, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? After we reverse the pointers, I'm saying this is a very important, guys. I'm saying, likewise, you see 2 and 1 and 2, right? Becomes 2 and 1 after we reverse the list, right? So you see 1 points to 2, right? But now after we reverse it, right, 2 ends up pointing at 1 to 1, right? So that's how we're gonna do it, guys. It's you know what I'm saying, that's the whole question pretty much. We just reversing pointers, guys. What I'm saying, I know initially, guys, it can be very confusing. I'm saying, kind of hard actually to do manipulation of, like, pointers, guys. Especially trying to imagine things in your head, right? It's kind of hard. I'm saying, so guys, the whole algorithm, how it's gonna work, guys, pretty much at every node, right? We're gonna store the original next pointer node, right, that is pointing at, right, and then we're gonna end up reversing it, and then we're also gonna have another variable, right, that's gonna be one step behind as we iterate through the list, right? There's gonna be a pointer that's one step behind it, right? So that pointer's job, right, is gonna pretty much help us and having some kind of reference of the node that came prior to us, guys. What I'm saying, so that once we're at a particular node, right, whatever node that is, right, we could easily get that node pointer, right, and point it back to the previous node that came before it, right? And then we keep doing that over and over, guys, until we reverse the whole list. And yeah, just as simple as that, guys. So I'm gonna go over a walkthrough with you guys. Hopefully you guys, after I do this walkthrough, you guys are able to really understand the overall process and how the whole reversal works. So let's go ahead and jump into the walkthrough real quick. Yeah, guys, so we'll be going over a walkthrough, guys, what I'm saying. So yeah, guys, so like I talked about, right, you're gonna have a previous variable, guys, that's gonna help us in having reference to whatever node came prior to us, right? And then cur, right, it's gonna help us to iterate through the linked list, right? As we're iterating through the linked list, the previous pointer is gonna be always one step behind cur, right? And then now we're just gonna simply, reverse the wherever cur's pointing at, right, the current node that we're at, right, we reverse it and point it back to the previous variable being the node that came before us, right before us, exactly. I'm saying, and then we keep doing that through the whole list, right? So you guys will see how the overall algorithm is going to work, what I'm saying. So before we do the reversal, guys, we need to take care of one important thing, right, which is to store the original next pointer, right? So the original place where the current pointer is pointing at, right, the initial place, right? So we take that reference, right, we store it in some kind of variable, and then we store it, right, so we don't lose reference to it, right? Because if we don't store that reference, guys, we're gonna lose it, and then we won't be able to do the connection, guys, which is important to do, what I'm saying. So before we do that, we store it, right? And then after we store it, we can reverse to it, right? And then now we know where where the original next pointer is at, right? We just go once that we go to that, and then we could keep continuing and or reversing of the nodes, right? So you guys will see after I do a couple examples real quick, it'll be very clear, guys. I'm saying. So yeah, guys. So cur get reference to the head, right? Because 1 is the head right now, right? So now the previous is null, right? So we're in good shape. So now we go forward, right? So I told you guys we take a reference to that original next node, right? That's there originally, right? So we take that in a temporal variable, and then we could do the reversal, guys, after we get reference to that, right? So now we're now gonna lose reference to the next node, right? So if we didn't do that, right, we would have lost reference, and then there's no way of us knowing where 2's at, right? Because we lost reference. We didn't store any connection to it. So now after we do that, guys, the next thing we do, right? We prepare stuff for the next iteration, right? The prev moves forward once, right? So prev was there, right? And prev moves forward once, right? To point to exactly where cur is at, right? Because cur is this current node, right? We do that because the current node that we're at right now is going to be the previous node to 2, right? The next node. So that's why I told you guys, prev is always one step behind cur. I'm saying, so prev gets a reference to cur, right, for the next iteration, and then cur, we move cur forward to go on to the original next node, right? That was supposed to be next, right? I'm saying we can't do, or we couldn't do cur is equal to cur that next, right? Because cur that next, it would have point you right back to null, right? I'm saying we don't want that. We don't want to go null. We want to go to the original next pointer, right? So that's why we move cur. Cur moves forward once, right? It goes to 2, right? And then now we're in pretty good shape to do another reversal, guys. The same thing. So we get the reference, right? So yeah, we get the reference, guys, and after we get the reference, we could do reverse it. After we reverse it, guys, we're in pretty good shape. We move prev forward once, right? Right, to point to exactly curves at, right? And then now that I have reference to that, right, I move curve forward as well, right? Curve moves forward, and then now we do it and do the same thing, guys. We store the original next pointer, right, before we reverse the current pointer that we're at, right? Before we reverse the pointer, right, to go to point to the previous node, right? And we have reference to the previous node because prev is always one step behind cur, right? Cur is the iterator that's helping us iterate through the linked list, right? So we store that, right? And then we're in pretty good shape, guys. Same thing, prev moves where cur's at right now, right? Because that's prev. This current variable, this current node is going to be the previous node for the next iteration, right? That's why we store it, right? And then cur moves forward once, right, to point to exactly where the temporary pointer is at, right? And then and then we do the same thing, right? We get the temporary reference, reverse the the pointer to point to the previous node, right? And then we move prev forward to equal to exactly the node that we're at right now. And then the current pointer, right, moves forward, right, once, right, and becomes points to exactly the node of where the node that's the original next pointer, right? So now cur's there, we move cur forward, right? I told you guys we're able to move forward. Cur moves forward to where temp is at because we store temp holds the original next pointer, right? That was pointed by 4. I'm saying, so now we can move forward because we have reference to that, right? Cur points to this one, right? And then we could do that, right? And then yeah, guys, we do the same thing, right? Cur's null. Cur's not null yet, right? So previous one step behind, right? And then we do the length, right? Cur's pointing 5. Cur's pointing at null, right? So now we're gonna reverse that to point to 4 now, right? Since that's how we do the reversal, guys. And then now, guys, we prev becomes cur, right? And then cur becomes null, right? That's where the temporal is null. So now we have the reverse links, guys. 5 points to 4, 3 points to 3, which points to 2, and 2 points to 1, right? And now, guys, just like that, we have the reverse list, guys. So this is the whole the list reversed, right? This is just the same list as above, right? I just arranged them so that you guys could clearly see how the whole reversal is, right? So you guys can see prev always going to be at the head of the reverse list, guys. So this is how the whole algorithm works, guys. So right now we're going to jump into the code and yeah, see you guys there. So yeah, guys, right now we're gonna quickly do the reversal, right? So let's jump into the code. So right now, let me zoom in real quick so you guys could clearly see what's going on, right? Yeah. So what we do first, guys, we get a reference, right, to the head, right, so that we could iterate through the whole thing, right? And then the guys, I told you guys we need a previous variable, which is gonna help us in having a reference to the previous node, right? And then we're gonna be iterating through the whole list, right? While cur's not null, right? Yeah, so guys, we get the reference to the original next pointer, right? So pretty much, guys, is going to occur that next, right? We get that reference, right? We get that reference, guys, because we're gonna overwrite where this pointer is pointing at, right? It should point to the previous node, guys. That's why we're doing that. I'm saying occur that next points to pre, right? The previous node that was prior to us, right? And then those following two lines that I'm gonna write right now are pretty much help us in the next iteration, right? So prev is gonna be exactly where cur's at right now, right? And then the cur, right, we needs to move forward, right? It needs to now move to where what it was originally, right? So the cur that next, right? So that's how we simulate it going to 2, right? So let's say we are 1, right? 1 moves to 2, and that's what it's doing right now, right? Since we just it was overwritten, right? The cur that next, right? By pointing to the previous node, we stored it initially, so we stored it, so we didn't lose reference to 2, so we have access to 2 with the help of this temporary variable, guys. That's why it's very important, guys. So that's why I'm stressing it, guys. That's a very, very important part of it. Saying, and after that, guys, we are pretty golden. We just returned the previous node because I told you guys, I just showed you guys in the walkthrough that the previous node is going to be at the head of the reverse list, guys. I'm saying, let's press run code, see if we pass the small test case. Perfect. Let's press submit. Perfect, guys. We're able to pass all the test cases, guys. So yeah, guys, if I did a pretty good job explaining this problem and you guys like the walkthrough that I did, make sure to give me a like, guys, and subscribe, and to help support the channel, guys. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.